AS Bushido. Birthdays, Christmas, and New Year depression, aka time. Hello, this is AS Bushido. First of all, I wish you all a Happy New Year for 2026. But the cynical side of me doesn't hold out much hope myself, or even in geopolitical terms, come to think of it. But that's a much bigger and controversial topic. Instead, this time, I thought I'd talk about the difficulty some of us have in regards to feeling even more depressed, lonely, ostracized, and alienated at three particular times of the year, namely our birthdays, Christmas, and New Year's Day. Before I begin, I just want to ask, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing if you're on YouTube or following if you're on TikTok, and liking the video, as it helps with the algorithms, as I've heard from other channels online. If you'd like to, please drop in a comment. I'd be interested to hear what you think about the topics I discuss in my videos. Likes and comments encourage me too, especially considering one of my traits includes a need for reassurance. It actually helps me feel I'm actually reaching out to people. In fact, if you know of anyone who can relate to my videos or you think might be interested in them, please share my channel, because I'd love to be able to connect to like-minded people. Now onto the subject of the video. Time. Well, technically I'm referring to birthdays, Christmases, and New Year's Day. What do all these occasions have in common? Reminders of the merciless flow of time. You know, I felt this same exact feeling when I was in my mid-teens. I'm now in my mid-30s, and the feeling has always remained exactly the same. I'll tell you something else as well. It's not surprising considering what I've experienced in all these years of misfortune, missed opportunities, either based on reasons out of my control, because of a cruel twist of fate, or due to my own heightened levels of fear and anxiety, especially in the social world. Added to that, let's not forget that noisy environments are no good for someone with Asperger's, autism, and sensory processing disorder, and unfortunately, it's usually noisy environments that are the most socially concentrated centers. I can remember a time I tried to order a drink from a pub on a Friday, but it was nigh on impossible. It's only because I was with someone at the time who could tell me what the bartender said that I could even order anything at all. I couldn't hear a single word. The murmuring in the background was far too loud. I couldn't even hear myself think, in all honesty. Even if I were to overcome anxiety, like that'll ever happen. But bear with me, for argument's sake. Let's say my anxiety were lowered by some unknown miracle. I'd still need to be able to hear what people are saying, to know what to say and how to respond, right? Well, I couldn't in an environment like that, could I? No, exactly. So coming back to the concept of time, basically what I'm referring to ultimately is the feeling as if there's something missing in your life, and the reminder of time and togetherness at Christmas and New Year's Day celebrations often emphasizes that fact. Even your own birthday and the lack of that one person in your life that is missing, a void in your heart that is yet to be filled, particularly if you're around those who remind you of both. This causes triggers, ergo it can directly impact on your PTSD. Or another way of putting it, it's emphasizing your own heartache for lacking that which deep down inside you know you need, but at the same time have no idea how it could ever be possible in your circumstances. It's all very well fantasizing about getting to the tip of Mount Everest. It's another thing entirely to attempt it without the essential supplies, climbing equipment, tent, clothing, and hiking shoes. Or you may try to look for some basic equipment like a simple single-layer coat, but you know that the journey needs much more than that. I'm referring to the concept of realizing that the social world isn't as simple as it once was. Or even more so, that people don't seem to like writing emails to one another anymore. It's a bit like the feeling people have about handwritten letters. Instead, the smartphones seem to have overtaken the more intellectual ways of communication, to have in-depth discussions. I used to write pages and pages worth of email messages to a girl I wrote to in the past about all sorts of topics, from our shared interests, our individual pursuits, our thoughts and feelings, and even politics and philosophy. She's long gone, but the memories of those times still linger with me. Where am I likely to meet someone like that again? Perhaps even progress into something greater? No, instead, we're stuck with smartphones, with video chats, instant impact. Maybe some of us find video chatting too nerve-wracking and prefer to exchange online messages or even letters to get to know someone enough to become comfortable to meet them in person one day. Say there are those of us who prefer to writing to someone like a pen pal, then eventually meet in person and develop a romantic relationship with them. Not everyone can cope with instant impact, you know. Where do they have platforms for people like that, eh? Oh, trust me, that could be a whole new topic about the concept of dating and pen pal websites, both of which fail to find the niche that someone like me would be looking for. In the end, the lonely among us have no other choice than to go yet another year without. The gaping hole is still deep within our hearts, yearning to be filled, but you're left to suffer in despair, the darkness inside growing ever stronger. The flicker of flame that you once tried to nurture is nothing but mere cinders. Sparks are no longer being ignited. Instead, you feel like the walking dead, a nameless, empty soul just wandering around through existence, hoping that the meaning of life was to cross your path, the Holy Grail, that an answer to your hopes, wishes, and prayers would be your salvation, that an angel of mercy was to extend their hand to take hold of yours, to show you there's still hope in this world, that you're not alone anymore, that there's still a place for you, a home where you belong, with a warmth that welcomes you wholeheartedly. Where is such a miracle, you may well ask? In our imaginations, that's where. And seeing the advertisements of families sitting around a warm fireplace with a heavily decorated Christmas tree, presents sitting underneath, has the uncanny feeling of causing the ultimate stress, tension, heartache, and despair. Oddly enough, it tends to feel better to shut it all out, disregard every part of it, pretend it isn't even happening, or drown your mind in your own world, that you try to forget what it all means. I've tried this myself, and its effectiveness wanes gradually over time. I'm still all too aware of what I'm lacking, and no amount of video gaming and anime watching is going to cover that pain. Oh, and as for the coming of the new year, the sound of the Gatling gun firing off so many fireworks up into the sky feels more like I'm being shaken back into the world, which is especially disruptive when I'm trying to drown my mind in my interest to cut out the memories of the end of another year of emptiness, and welcoming a new coming year of the same emptiness I felt the year before. Every year feels more like another notch towards my eventual death, despair, and darkness. Even since my nervous breakdown at school, well, especially the emotional breaking point, caused Mr. Cynic to take over my psyche, and it's been here to stay. Or perhaps it's better to say, it's waiting for the angel of mercy to wake me up from my lifelong slumber in utter despair. You see, the spirit of my younger self was taken from me a long time ago. What you hear now is nothing but a mere shadow of who I once was. I have an interest in Chinese zodiac signs. Perhaps you may have heard me talk about it a little in a previous video blog post. Well, I'm actually the metal goat, and the Chinese New Year we're coming into happens to be the year of the fire horse. Actually, believe it or not, it states that as a single with my metal goat sign may meet their destined partner during business trips or travels, and relationships are expected to progress smoothly. Oh, really? Well, if they say so. Considering I can't drive and I've not been able to cope with public transport on my own, I don't see how that's possible. Still, I can hope, can't I? Oh, who am I kidding? Like that'll ever happen. It's never happened in all these years. What's different about this year compared to any other? Maybe telling you out there might help me to reach more people, but who knows? Still, I'm going to continue to make these videos, and hopefully one day a girl might take notice. Oh yeah, sure. And there'll be world peace, and we'll all learn to live in harmony with each other. Like that'll ever happen. Anyway, I'll leave it at that for now. Again, the photo in this video is one of my own. Also, just as a reminder, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing if you're on YouTube or following if you're on TikTok, perhaps leaving a comment and liking the video, as it helps with the algorithms and me, and maybe others like me.